Under 17 hours away from the trade deadline. We've already had over 10 trades go down. So bringing in the man breaking all the news, our senior insider, Shams Charania. Shams, what should we expect with the deadline right around the corner?
Malika, all eyes in the NBA have been on Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks for the last 9 months. It'll continue over the next 24 hours and possibly even beyond that. So the big question going into Thursday is, does the organization decide to take one of the aggressive offers that are on their board, or does this bleed into the offseason? And if the Bucks do not trade Giannis at Thursday's deadline, what path do Giannis and the Bucks themselves take the rest of the season? What kind of turbulence might they have? And then Ja Morant and the Grizzlies, another all-NBA face of an organization. The Grizzlies have been entertaining offers on Ja Morant for the last several weeks. Desmond Bane is gone. Jaren Jackson got traded this week as well. Ja is the final piece potentially out in Memphis as the organization turns toward a full rebuild.
Giannis, the Milwaukee Bucks, has the stances changed with these two, with these new comments here?
Malika, to put it plainly, Giannis Antetokounmpo, I'm told, has told the Bucks, communicated to the Bucks for a period of months now that he believes the time has come to part ways, and that has essentially forced the Bucks to listen to teams, to engage with teams, and remain in touch with teams here this week on the eve of the NBA trade deadline. That includes Miami, Minnesota, Golden State. But at the end of the day, general manager Jon Horst and Bucks ownership have to sift through the offers and land on the same page about the big question, whether to execute a trade now or push this to the offseason. Even tonight, just moments ago, I talked to several different sources around teams involved, and there are certainly questions about whether Milwaukee is serious and genuine about pulling a move of this magnitude for this franchise at the deadline. There are obvious risk rewards right now that Milwaukee has to sift through, whether they do it now or wait in the summer. If they wait in the summer, Giannis gets basically an expiring year on his deal. He's got 1 year left. That gives him a little bit more say-so, a little bit more equity in terms of where he wants to end up and land. And the other side is Milwaukee is likely more playing toward lottery positioning in the second half. And if Giannis wants to play in the second half, that is a direct conflict with goals with both sides. So this is certainly a situation, even if it goes past the deadline, to monitor.
Okay, so we are going to be watching this for the next couple of hours and potentially the next couple of months. Shams, thank you very much for that insight. Can you help me make sense of this? What we're hearing from Giannis, the reporting, it all seems to be sort of going back and forth here.
Well, he obviously is letting you know that it's what they, not what I. It's a lot of they. However, there's a certain amount of players that I look at that are magnets, meaning LeBron James was a magnet. Steph Curry's a magnet,
sure,
meaning people want to play with
Wemby
them.
Now.
Wemby.
Yeah.
So look, Giannis is a magnet. Even being in a small market like Milwaukee, Dame Lillard was ecstatic about going to Milwaukee. So now, when you put this position out, the Milwaukee Bucks are forced. There is no comeback because now you're saying that the magnet might not want to be here or not be here. So your free agency, even in the summer, you can't attract people when you don't know the magnet is going to be there. And so without Giannis, they have now put themselves in a position where I think they have to trade him. Because if you had also said, we're going to do everything in our power to make sure we bring another guy in here with Giannis, their phone would have rang as well. So they have put themselves now, to me, in a position of trading him at some point.
Haven't the Bucks done that, though? Haven't the Bucks done literally every single move?
But you can continue to do that because he's such a great player. You can still bring someone in.
I think James
like that.
Harden needs to meet up with Giannis and teach Giannis how to ask for a trade. Nobody gets themselves traded like James Harden, and Giannis can't handle this. He just needs to be clear, and he has not been clear, and that has given the Bucks an out.
That's the biggest thing. Malika just read his comment part. To me, that's 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I love Milwaukee, but I want to win. They're not going to win this year. So that's clear. I agree with what Kenny just said. He's got to find a new place to go play because Milwaukee, that's done. That's a wrap.
That's dead bird, tall grass. You're absolutely right. But here's why I disagree with you at, Wendy. Right now, this is on the Milwaukee Bucks. Somebody need to actually call the police.
How's that working?
Let me tell you.
Working.
Hold on. Run an investigation because they holding the man hostage. The only reason that we have these reports right now is because Giannis is trying to be polite about this. He has went to those people behind closed doors and let it be known that he wants to be traded. Why are they not making the move?
Because he's not putting pressure on him. James Harden said, trade me. I'm not going to show up again to a game unless you trade
But
me.
that's not
He left.
Giannis.
And I'm saying that's what's led to this
But
situation.
Wendy, here's what I'm telling you. We're talking about the Giannis Antetokounmpo that was drafted, that came in and said, I want to win the MVP one day. I want to win a championship. Giannis actually cares about his legacy and cares about what people feel about him, and that organization knows that.
Well, back when he signed the contract extension and there was all this conversation about whether or not he was going to stay or not in Milwaukee. It is Black History Month, and it is also the NBA trade deadline rapidly approaching. We're back here with our senior NBA insider, Shams Charania. And Shams, you just broke that Chris Paul has been moved to the Raptors, but actually, wait, not so fast. Where is actually he headed, and what does this mean for the point guard?
Malika, 3-team trade here, but this is really just a salary tax type of deal. It's between the Brooklyn Nets, Toronto Raptors, and the Los Angeles Clippers. Chris Paul being the biggest name player in that. He's going to Toronto. That allows the Clippers to save $7 million in luxury tax, create a roster spot. Toronto will not have Chris Paul report. Chris Paul will never step foot in a game with the Raptors. They are expected to either trade or waive him by tomorrow or after the deadline. And for the Brooklyn Nets in all of this, they get Ochai Agbaji, the former first-round draft pick, and he's going to go with a 2032 Raptors second-rounder to Brooklyn. They're also getting $3.5 million in salary. So for the Nets, this is just about taking on a player with an additional asset, and the Raptors also fully get out of the luxury tax. So a full-on salary tax deal. Chris Paul will not be playing for Toronto.
Okay, so this is a full-on salary deal. I think a lot of people are wondering, does this mean Chris Paul is going to be back in the league, or is it too soon to know right now, Shams?
It will not be for Toronto, and I think when I talk to teams around the league, his NBA future obviously very much up in the air. It's not certain whether he's going to play again in the NBA as of right now.
Okay, thank you very much for that clarification. I want to get some other news with you while we
In leadership and somebody that can help your locker room. You have guys that can help massage what the Raptors are already doing. They came out blazing. They've had a couple of hot streaks this year, doing things that we didn't expect them to do, at least not me on paper. So when I add a Chris Paul over there, I think that they get better. I think that they take steps forward. I think that they feel a lot. I would feel a lot safer as a coach knowing I have a Chris Paul on my bench when it comes time for playoffs.
So happy for Chris Paul that he's going to be back in the league. I'm going to wait and see. There's more moving pieces happening here. I mean, Brooklyn, I expect to be involved in multiple deals over the next 24 hours. I want to see where everything falls here before I see how this would actually work. But I'm happy for Chris Paul. This is what he wanted. He really didn't care where he goes as long as he gets back in the league.
And if it is a spot that he stays at, I like this because this is a team that's trying to earn their stripes in the Eastern Conference. Scotty Barnes, Brandon Ingram having great years so far. And I do think when the going gets tough, they need someone to help have a coach on the floor.
Yep.
And so these are guys that win and they compete the hard way. They built their own identity. They've turned around and they've exceeded expectations. And I think Chris will add so much institutional knowledge to this new version of the Toronto Raptors.
And I want to add a small wrinkle. They have all season now made it to where Chris Paul is the scapegoat. He's the problem. Clearly there's something else going on behind the scenes. So now you get a fresh-minded Chris Paul. He's coming out of this situation.
And competitive, like we're going to prove some people.
You've been holding him back. I want to see what he does. He's a competitor.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a great thing that Chris Paul is back in the NBA. All right, we got some games tonight.
I think this is more for a move to re-sign him in the offseason here, and you get rid of Colin Sexton, who's been good for them, and also you capitalize on trading some future picks down the road.
Okay, so I don't know how many guards that the Bulls are going to trade for this week, but I'm not going to focus on that. I'm going to focus on this move for Charlotte. This is Charlotte also ramping up. Okay,
Yep.
They aren't doing it in such a dramatic fashion like the Wizards and the Jazz are, but here are teams that have been at the bottom 4 years now. Utah, Washington, Charlotte. Buying, and here they come, more for 2026-27, but Kobe White is a spark plug. This guy can score, and of course, he's got North Carolina roots.
Yeah.
If you're a Tar Heel fan, you are excited to see Kobe White come back and probably to be a Hornet for years into the future.
We got news moving fast and furious here. Within the last 90 minutes, we have more for you because Oklahoma City solidified their shooting.
Crazy.
Jared McCain joining the Champs in exchange for one of their many, many, many picks. It's a late first rounder in this draft. The Thunder, they've been hopeful to get back to where he was, right, pre-meniscus tear. That's what they're looking for from Jared.